Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan, and the topic of this 10-minute moan is yet further evidence that the United Kingdom has really lost its way in terms of knife crime. Now, I'd done a series of videos probably about 46 weeks ago where almost every day I was highlighting knife crime attacks and murders across the United Kingdom, which were vastly underreported. I was finding them in local news outlets, etc. And when they were in the mainstream, it tended to be maybe on BBC website, but buried deep in the Kent or whatever sections of it. They weren't on the main news pages of these outlets. And it concerned me. And I considered, was it because knife crime is becoming the norm? Or was it because knife crime was one of those things that we just didn't want to talk about and discuss? And I'm still actually unsure. But two events over the last 24, 48 hours have just reignited this concern I have for knife crime and the levels of it and how it's sort of right across society. And there's been a double murder in Manchester and one that looks like an attempted murder in Birmingham. The Manchester murders were for older guys, and the attempted murder in Birmingham was on a teenager. And it's just getting out of hand. So I'll tell you a bit about the stories and my thoughts on them. So the Manchester one, I'm getting off about Manchester, like obviously a local news outlet. Headline: man suspected of Moss Side double murder held under Mental Health Act. The man arrested following the double murder investigation has been detained under the Mental Health Act after being assessed by medical professionals. The two victims were found to have stab wounds in Great Southern Street in Moss Side in the early hours of Sunday morning. Police believe that the suspect and one of the victims were known to each other. Chief Superintendent David Meany, District Commander of City of Manchester Division, said this morning 2 lives have been lost in our community and our thoughts go to them. We're treating this as an isolated incident with no threat to the wider public. We have launched a murder investigation and detectives from our major incident team continue to work diligently, conducting CCTV trawls and speaking to witnesses to find out what happened to the victims. This a bit tells you about who they were. Well, it doesn't on that one. I've got another article there that tells you a bit more about the victims. Just bear with me. Now this one says that they arrested a 23-year-old on suspicion of murder. And authorities believe the suspect was known to at least one of the victims, which hints at the possibility of previous conflicts. I don't know how you can get to that. But this is taken from the Pinnacle Gazette, which I've never heard of before, but they seem quite satisfied to say that the attacker was 23 and the victim, one of the male victims is in his late 40s. Now there was another one suggesting that the men were older than that. 23-year-old man, sorry, there are, this has been done by other outlets. A 23-year-old man suspected, detained under mental health. Now I don't know why you would need to do that. Maybe they just don't have enough evidence to charge him with murder, and the mental health thing helps detain him until they get further evidence and enough evidence to charge him. So I'm not sure what this mental health thing's all about, but it might just be a way of stalling. Now, the other one was Birmingham. Again, I'm getting this from birminghammail.co.uk, which is, again, obviously a local outlet. What we know so far about the boy left fighting for his life in Birmingham's A39 stabbing near Sainsbury's. Police were called to Franklin Beaches Road on the A38, Bristol Road South, after a teen was stabbed. 15-year-old boy is fighting for his life in hospital after he was stabbed in the early hours of Monday morning. The emergency services found a seriously injured teenager at a junction in Franklin Beaches Road in the A38 Bristol Road South at 12:50 a.m, which is just before 1 a.m. They received advanced trauma care at the scene. Meanwhile, 2 youths are in police custody after they were arrested in suspicion of attempted murder. Another outlet suggests that the 2 that have been charged, or sorry, not charged, but are being held, are actually teenagers. So it's just crazy. And, you know, during the summer, when we had the Southport murders, and 10 attempted murders, 3 girls lost their lives, and I think the charge is either 8 or 10 attempted murders. The British public were concerned about a number of things, not, you know, and one of them being knife crime. And I spoke about this 100 times. The Tory government at the start of the year passed a law to ban machetes, zombie knives, and any blade over 6 inches, I think, maybe 8 inches. And they had an amnesty where they were actually paying people to hand in their blades. And what was a bit bizarre, they'd set that about and then they called a snap election, so they kind of forgot about it. But the legislation didn't kick in until after Labour had won the election. You tell me one Labour MP that you've seen discussing this amnesty, where we had, I think it was a 28-day period for people to hand in these knives. Nothing. Nobody. I did see some mainstream media coverage of this new law, but I've seen very, very little coverage pushed by the government. And I don't know what it was all about. Did they not want to push it because it was a Tory thing? I don't know. But this legislation was quite a big thing. And the fact that there was an amnesty where the police would pay you to drop off a bad knife, the only person I think that took benefit of it was a knife wholesaler who claimed hundreds of thousands of pounds for it because he wanted to give them all his stock, knowing fine well that he couldn't sell it because it was the law, when the law kicked in after 28-day amnesty, made it illegal to own, sell or manufacture such knives. So they just wanted rid of their stock. And I can't remember what happened to the claim. I just remember the claim being made that they were wanting hundreds of thousands of pounds to bin their stock. That was about all. And no, you know, you'd have thought STARMER, after the atrocities at Southport, would have at least mentioned it. He's not once covered, discussed, or came up with any way of fixing the evident knife crime problem we have in the UK. And my fear is we actually don't know how bad it is because of the lack of coverage. So, frightening stories, frightening what's going on in the UK, and this knife crime and knife culture. Nobody seems wanting to fix it. The Tories, to be fair, had a go, but that was forgot about as soon as they called a snap election, and the Labour Party done nothing to promote it once it came into legislation after the demise of the Tories. So, I don't know, it's just, I'm trying to not put a tinfoil hat on and suggest that some people might not be bothered about it. I don't know, I just don't know how anybody can not be bothered about what seems an ever-increasing number, and it's widespread. We've seen victims. Oh, sorry, the Moss Side one, yeah, it's there. They've named those that were killed. Siddy Falls, 75-year-old. Norman Scott, 68. God bless you and your families. And so we've got from pensioners to 15-year-olds, the victims of these crimes. And nobody bothered. Nobody's bothered. What are we doing about it? And mad thing, that actor, what's his name again? Idris, whatever his name is. He's an advocate of, knife crime and just African knife crime, finding solutions to knife crime, an ambassador to try and sort stuff out. I mean, they had this big mad meeting at Number 10 not long after STARMER came in. And I thought, wow, we're going to get they'll mention this amnesty, because this was right in the middle of the amnesty. Nothing. Absolutely zero. Never mentioned it. It just beggars belief. Anyway, how many people, young and old, need to die before we eventually say enough's enough with knife crime? Incredible. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please hit the subscribe and notifications button. Let me know your comments and your feelings in the comment section below. But most important of all, unless you are the type of person who doesn't want to stop knife crime, or indeed the type of people that think walking about the UK with these big blades is acceptable today, no you, but
everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.